Hi, doll. I'm going to do a little sharing today, little secret confessions. I typically play small to lift others up, to make them feel big. I like to make them feel big because I'm already confident in my abilities. So I play small. And I think it's time for you all to know just how big I can play. I've been thinking about this for a while. And synchronicity. Synchronicity is a really, really cool thing for me. This evening, I'm sitting here, tooling through Amazon, enjoying the quiet. Everyone's in bed. And I'm actually shopping for a new mirror, a scrying mirror, to be exact. So after I'm done doing my shopping, I set my phone down and I'm like, I'll turn on some YouTube. Grab the remote, hit the TV, go to YouTube. Very first video that shows up is this young lady that I've never seen before. She's never been on my radar before. And her video is the very first one at the top of the recommendations, right? And the name of her channel is Mel the Mirror. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. That's cute. I like that. Mel the Mirror. And I was just shopping for mirrors, right? And the title of her video was For the Gifted One Who Went into Hiding. This will find you when it's time. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I noticed that she actually posted this 6 days ago. And today is the sixth day of the week, officially. And ironically, I'm a six life path. So sixes for me are important. They're a good number for me. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And don't go putting the 666 into it because there were three sixes. Because in my mind, that's 3, 6, and 9. I ain't putting no negative shit on it. It was a beautiful synchronistic thing. Okay. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this video because I have played small my whole life. I mean, it started out because of my father being who he was, saying to me that I needed to dampen it down or dumb it down and not let people know what I can do because some people would consider it dangerous. Others would want to come take me away and study me, which ended up happening in weird roundabout ways anyway. But at least he was sort of navigating it toward the safer path. No harm came to me from it. But he didn't want people to know, right? He didn't want the public to know what I could do. So it started very young for me to dumb it down, play small, and just shine my light and lift others up and help them to be all they can be. But in order for me to fully gain your trust, fully show you that I'm capable of teaching you and leading you the right way, I can't play small anymore. And that's actually what I've been thinking about lately is that I need to show you who I am. I need to demonstrate. But the few people in my life that I actually did demonstrate this to normally did not accept it. They normally were either frightened by the power of it or called names to it, evil, demonic, um, the devil helped me do it, kind of stuff, you're a witch, those things, because it frightened and threatened their belief system, which, coming from a Christian, particularly, I was raised Southern Baptist, I really never understood that because there are so many beautiful examples throughout the entire Bible, Old and New Testament, of people doing the very same things that I can do. So how is it that biblical figures are accepted as being capable and this is miraculous, but when little old me from the middle of nowhere can do it in modern times, it's blasphemous or evil, especially when nothing I ever did was malice or with ill intent. It was always to help and heal. So that was very confusing for me. And it really is honestly what made me begin to truly question religion and my faith that I was, my family's faith that I was being raised in. Because how can you have faith in this yet not have faith in it, in what the words are actually telling them? And I always knew that I was here to help finish Jesus' true message, that we can all do this. And that is true. We can all do this. I do it exceptionally well. Bragging and marketing myself is not really my forte. So that's something that I'm going to be working on this year to demonstrate to you in multiple ways just who I am and what I can do. Um, so yeah, I think it's time that the world knows exactly who Kelly Smith Robertson really is, right? So real quick, I just want to share this young lady's video. I probably won't play the whole thing because it's 23 minutes long. And then I'm going to get back with you and I'm going to really start to share with you where I come from, what I've been through, and what made me who I am today. And again, this is Mel the Mirror.
I am talking to a very gifted and rare individual. If this video has found you, take this as a sign, a synchronicity, or the confirmation that you have been looking for to say, yes, you are sensing that something big is coming, something big is shifting. Now, what I am sensing is you have been feeling incredibly comfortable in your hermit mode. You are someone that truly knows how powerful you are, and maybe this is something that you have always sensed within you. I'm talking to someone that has an incredibly rare gift. You are incredibly gifted. You are incredibly unique. This is something that you were born with, okay? It's inherently within you. But I am sensing that your gifts haven't always been received in the way that you felt as if you were accepted. This is what's coming through. And so whoever I'm tapping into, you have an incredibly powerful energy. Your vibration and your frequency is unmatched because you are someone who has been essentially brought back to guide others I'm hearing that you are the one to initiate others into that awakening, okay? Into a spiritual awakening. I'm feeling like whoever you are, you have found a lot of comfort and peace in solitude. And actually, I'm sensing that this is your preference. You are someone who feels incredibly, it's very important for you to feel incredibly grounded and centered, and you have learned to be able to protect your peace. And yeah, there is this huge emphasis around your gifts and abilities. You could resonate with being a psychic, clairvoyant, clairsentient, any of those, right? But I don't feel like you just pertain to one label or category. I feel like you are multifaceted, and with your gifts, okay? You are someone that knows things, you can sense things, you feel things, right? And people are scared of that. You know, I think where you have shown this ability in the past, in previous experiences, the people, I'm hearing the people that you were surrounded with didn't know what to do with that information. It's almost like you are so advanced beyond your time, beyond your environment even, that there were certain people in your upbringing, in family dynamics, friendship groups, maybe even previous partners, but I'm definitely feeling a huge emphasis around your family not being in tune with accepting your rarity and your gift, which is who you are. And this is a huge message actually that wants to come through, so bear with me as I try to articulate this as best as I can. But I am sensing that this is a big confirmation for someone, okay? So you have probably always known that you're gifted. You are someone that this is just a natural part of who you have always been and who you are now. But I am sensing that you had to withdraw your energy. You almost felt like you were shut down by other people, and therefore you had to take your energy back from any place or person that projected onto you any of their fears, insecurities, distorted mindset and perspectives around who you are and your gifts. And I'm sensing that, yeah, there's this huge theme around you having to shut down or close down parts of you, maybe from a young age, that you learned to suppress in order to feel like you had to fit in to other people, with other people, in certain social dynamics and constructs. And because of this, you either had to dampen down your gifts, where you did this now even on a subconscious level, like you have learned to naturally close yourself down, your energy, your vibe, your gifts, because you have learned from a very young age that if you show yourself in this authentic light, people are going to perceive you in a way that isn't it's not going to trigger a response that feels welcoming, or there's a deep sense for you to feel safe, is what I'm hearing. There's a deep need for you to feel safe when you're being seen. And so I'm speaking to someone that potentially has a visibility wound, and this could have been triggered and originating even either when you were incredibly young, where you might have been rejected or shut down or abandoned when you essentially started to showcase your natural abilities. Yeah, this is what I'm sensing. Or it could have been something that you have inherited from your lineage or from a past life, right? But whoever I'm tapping into, your gifts, your abilities are so incredibly big, and they're needed, and they are rare. And I feel like you already know this. I am sensing that whoever you are, you have been going through these activations and initiations, and it's kind of like a jolt into remembering who you are. And like I said, this is something that has always been with you. This is not something new. This is you. But maybe parts of your psyche tried to protect you, to shut it down. Maybe you had to move any painful experiences and associations from anything that was associated with your gifts. If there was any sort of negative emotional memory attached to it, you have learned to filter that out. And therefore, this has been a process. You are currently going through a process of learning to integrate these shadow aspects of yourself, or these parts of you that you felt was necessary for your survival on some level, to what's the word, what I'm getting is, it's these things you had to not necessarily reject, but you had to let go of, or you had to find a way to put them somewhere else. I'm seeing like you had to.
I mean, she's hitting every bit of this spot on. Starting when I was young and in the GATE program, I was taught how to disassociate from pain. I was taught how to disassociate from a bad situation, to be able to diffuse the situation rather than to be emotionally invested in it. So I learned this from a very young age, starting with the GATE program. And then I continued to use it and learn it throughout my life, throughout the journey that I've went through, that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. But she's hitting it spot on. And I have always been able to deal with what I was going through and kind of keep it over to the side and not even look at it. And in the past year and a half, I have been integrating that back into my life, all of those experiences that I went through, and working through the shadow emotions of that to heal it and purge it and forgive it and release it. And it was probably the most difficult thing that I've done on my journey yet, because she's right. I like to feel safe. I don't like to feel vulnerable. I don't know anybody that does, but some people deal with it better than others. I'm a triple Cancerian. And so I really just want to go hide in my shell and wait until the danger's over, I don't like those things. Though I am that person that, if I see someone else in a bad situation, I'm the first one to jump up and speak out for them. But when it comes to me, it's different. It's very vulnerable for me to not feel safe. And even in just sharing this with you, this is a huge milestone for me, what I'm going to share soon, because I've never shared this publicly with anyone.
Put them in a box and put them on the shelf, and that is, a metaphor for your being, your state, your mind. It's almost like you had to take something that is so precious and such a gift for you, but because it was not acknowledged, because it was not something that you felt safe with, you had to bury it. You had to put it somewhere for safekeeping. And as we know, a lot of the times, it can stay back there for years, for lifetimes even, until you're presented with the window of opportunity to realize and recognize that this is who I am, and this is intrinsically part of my energetic blueprint and makeup, and this gift is meant to be shared. And I am sensing that you are someone, there is this kind of, how do I explain this? There is this polarization of energies, or there's something that feels like a little bit, not contradictory, but there's a seemingly, yeah, I guess a little bit contradictory. I was going to say paradox, but essentially you are someone who has these gifts, okay? And how powerful you are. I know that you can sense this, but I also feel like you, not only do you realize that you have these gifts, but there has been a sense of burden that you have felt with having these gifts. And as I read into this energy, what I'm sensing is it's because there's a level of expectation that you feel obligated on a contractual soul level to have to share your gifts. And I think you are starting to recognize, or you have always known, right, that you are a powerful being, you are a limitless creator. And I feel like you know that you are being summoned. Okay, this is what's coming through. So you can probably sense this. Let me know if this resonates in the comments, but it's like you are being divinely guided, divinely led, recruited, if you like, to fulfill a mission, your soul's purpose. And a part of that is utilizing these natural gifts and abilities to help others, especially at this time, right? Because there is a huge awakening happening globally, universally, okay? And you can sense it, and you know on a deep level that you are part of this movement, okay? And you know this, your soul knows this, your higher self knows this. You probably get signs and nudges all the time. But I am sensing into someone that, like I said, you have been quite happily in your own bubble where you have learned to.
And anyone who knows my story knows that I have always known that I am here for the Great Awakening and to be the beacon that leads you home to self, to your true self.
Pushing you to these spaces where you had to face yourself, you had to face the dark in order to find the light. You did some serious shadow shit, essentially. And but not only that, it's like I feel like you have been raising your consciousness from the moment you came onto this planet. And I'm hearing not just your own consciousness, but every mother freaking person around you. This is how powerful you are. And it doesn't always, your presence, it's almost like, how do I say this? You've got this kind of, you've got such a magnetic, radiant presence about you. And it's really interesting, right? And you probably sense this about yourself. People either flock to you and they are incredibly in awe of you. You know, you have this incredibly addictive energy that people want to be in, but you get a range of responses. And actually, it's interesting. The responses that you get the most, I'm sensing into, is people either are in love with you, or they it's almost like they're jealous of you, or they find a reason to not like you, and they showcase that to you. They exert that energy towards you because your light, your radiance, your being in their presence triggers something within them. And because you are able to walk in your authenticity, in your light, you have this impact on others where wherever you go, you are always influencing people. You're always creating some sort of impact. And like I said, it has this polarizing effect. It's like people are obsessed with you, they love you, they find you the most incredible thing because you have this rare energy, right? You are this rare energy, but at the same time, simultaneously, there are people that have been incredibly triggered by your energy because it's a wake-up call. It's a mirror for them to show them everything that they haven't embodied within themselves, everything that
Again with the mirror.
they haven't accepted, okay? Because whenever we get triggered by something, there is always a reason for that, right? We don't get triggered for no reason. And usually it's because what we are perceiving in someone else is something that we have not accepted within ourselves, right? And that's the mirror. And so when you just being you, you're not even doing anything apart from just expressing your authentic energetic blueprint, who you were meant to be in this life, that triggers the shit out of people. And so I am sensing that you have gone into
All completely true.
solitude, you have gone into hermit mode, you have gone into hiding, if you like, but there's only, how do I say this? I feel like if you're seeing this message and if this resonates with you, it's time. It's time. And you know this, this is on divine time as well. I'm not just talking about linear time. There is a huge wave that is occurring right now, that has been occurring and is still ongoing in the evolution of us. And you know this because this is part of your purpose. You are here to elevate others by elevating yourself. So whoever you are, take this as confirmation that you are meant to be seen and you are being supported in this endeavor, in this path, on this path, to be visible. And so this will be a double confirmation for you if you have a visibility wound, because as we know, whatever challenges or setbacks or fears or insecurities we may harbor within this life, that is actually the biggest tool, that's the biggest insight we have into what our purpose is. So if you have any visibility wounds, you are meant to be seen, because you are meant to work through that with the grace of God, universe, source, higher self, the most high.
Right. Okay. So you get the point. And anyone that's been following my channel since the beginning knows that I have really come a long way with my visibility wound because it was really, really, really hard for me to just sit here and do a video when I first began. It really took hours and hours and hours just to get a few words out of my mouth without messing up. I was so crazy nervous about doing this, the visibility thing. It's a big deal for me. So I've had many blessings in my life. Okay, many, many, many blessings. And I've learned so many things from the journey that were painful at the time that I now look at as a blessing. A lesson and a blessing, I like to say. Um, but I want to share with you some of my struggles so that you understand that when you're looking at me and you're watching my videos and you're hearing my words, they're words of true wisdom. They're words that were learned or that I came here with. And I learned a lot of lessons in order to be the best damn teacher that I could possibly be for you. So I think it's important that you understand now my struggles. I don't share them for sympathy. I don't share them for concern or poor me's. They are all healed. They are all dealt with. The closets are clean. But it's important that you understand the path that I have walked to be this person that you see before you, whoever you think I am in your mind. And I'm not perfect, and I'm never going to be perfect. I don't want to be. So let's begin with my mother. From the time I can remember, I always did the same thing every child does at bedtime. I kissed my mother, I gave her a hug, and I told her I love her. And every night she would shoo me off to bed and never say a word. Around the age of 7 or 8, I got to thinking about that. So I decided to innocently, naively ask her one night as I'm telling her I love her, "Why do you never tell me that back, Mom?" And her response absolutely scarred me for the majority of the rest of my childhood and young adult life. Because she said to me, "You don't expect someone to tell you they love you just because you said it. Love is something you earn, like trust." And that came from my mom. And even in my little young years, probably even if I wasn't as wise as I was, would have still felt like, hey, you're my mom. That's supposed to be an automatic. You grew me in your belly. You gave birth to me, right? So you're supposed to just automatically love me. But that wasn't how my mom looked at it. Not for me, anyway. She treated my other siblings different. And there's a whole issue about blood types not matching up. That's a weird anomaly thing too, but whatever. I digress. So that's where it began with me. Always striving for someone to love me, right? That full acceptance. Because if your mother can't give it to you, who can? And I'll admit that even when I became a parent, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to make sure that my kids knew that I loved them because I wasn't sure of all of the ways to show that because it was never really demonstrated to me. Because my father, as great as he was when he was around, wasn't around that much. He was very covert. He had a very mysterious job. You know, he was gone a lot. And so it was up to my mother to raise myself and my brother, even though I'm the youngest of seven. The other five were already grown and moved out. So it was just me and her and my brother. And my brother treated me like a human punching bag. You know, he beat me up all the time, every chance he got. Broke my neck the first time I had my neck broke. I was 19 years old, and he picked me up and did that wrestling move, that power drive or whatever you call it, where they pick you up and dump you upside down and jam you into the mat. Well, he jammed me into the earth and broke my neck. But I survived. I shouldn't have. They said I should have died. Had a near death experience when I was 13. Very, very sick. Should have died. Didn't. Because I'm meant to be here to teach you. I'm meant to be here to show you the way back to yourself. So all of this was necessary. All of it. So as I said, I had siblings, but they all had a life of their own, and I was the baby of seven. I went through much of my life feeling very alone. My best friends were frogs and salamanders and fish and worms. And an old black man to be specific, who I used to sit on a sewage pipe and cane fish with during the summer when we were home, when we weren't traveling for the summer. That was how I spent my summer. And it was the greatest parts of my summer to spend time with that man. He was my soul family. I felt closer to this total stranger. I only knew his name, Mr. Grady. That's all I knew about him. I didn't know where he lived. I didn't know if he had kids. We didn't talk about that kind of stuff. I would sit and I would fish, and he would teach me folk songs, and we would sing folk songs. And I loved it. It was great. My first real boyfriend, the first time I was, engaged, was very verbally abusive with me. He didn't like my abilities. He didn't want people to know about my abilities. And he actually caused us to have a car wreck because he was having a temper tantrum over something I wore that day that he didn't approve of. Um, I have 5 husbands under my belt. A lot of people don't know that about me. I have 5 failed marriages. The first one wasn't technically legal because we didn't file the paperwork with the courthouse, and we were young and stupid, didn't know we were supposed to do that. But regardless, you know, in my mind, he was my husband, and in his mind, I was his wife. And that was a terrible relationship that only lasted 2 years. He's the father of my first 2 children. And he was a terrible dad. He was a worse dad than he was husband. Um, they're the reason that I finally left him because I wanted better for them. But I went through a lot of craziness with him. He broke my car window, tried to drag me out the car window, all kinds of violent things, you know. Um, my second husband was never home. He was a great dad, he was a great provider, but he was never home, and he cheated on me. So I left him. My third husband, I was with him for 16 years. He was the best dad my kids had ever had, any of them, including his stepkids, right? He treated them great. But he was physically abusive, very violent. Almost ripped both of my ears off of my head, and I still have the scars and I still deal with the soreness to prove it. Um, Actually, my ears are not uniformly shaped because of the damage that he did to me. He was very violent. Almost ripped my esophagus out of my throat once. Very, very violent man. Then my fourth husband, who's the father of my two youngest children, that I now have sole custody of, um, was also violent. And he was my friend since school. He was honestly somebody that I just thought was going to help us get out of that bad situation with the violent husband I was with for 16 years. I had no intention of being romantically involved with him. He used me because I had money. And then, and I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, because someone was finally kind to me in life. A man was finally kind to me. He didn't start out violent. And he was never physically violent with me. He was sneaky about what he did. He learned. I made the mistake of telling him all of the crazy shit that the other husbands had tried or pulled on me. So he thought he would get really creative and tried to poison me to death so that he could get the insurance policy and take the kids and run. And he damn near succeeded. If it wasn't because of us ending up homeless, he would have succeeded. So again, I've been homeless with children. I had 4 children still at home then. And I was homeless. And I was sick because I was being poisoned. I was very sick. And by the grace of God, we were rescued from that situation by my cousin Missy, who we now own a house with. And I started really doing a lot of inner searching at that point, inner work, learning that self-love, that thing that nobody teaches you how to do. I started figuring out my issues with my mommy and my daddy and all of that stuff, and did the shadow work and dealt with all of it, faced it, healed it, and started moving on and using my abilities that I have for me for a change. I never used them for me. I never tried to manifest things because I felt like it was selfish. I felt like that was ego, that you should only help other people manifest things. So I learned through struggle that it's okay, it's good actually, to manifest things for yourself, as long as you keep your ego in check. You can't do it out of selfishness or out of haste or out of anger or any of those negative things, because it won't turn out right. It has to come from a place of love. It has to come from a true need. And then those things do manifest, because when you truly need something, your willpower is behind it stronger. So I learned a lot of lessons in self-love. And I learned what I had previously tolerated or been through needed to be viewed as experiences and lessons to learn from, to gauge, what do I want? What do I not want? What do I need? What do I not need? discernment, paying attention to red flags, clear boundaries, all of those things. I learned them the hard way. So when I tell you about that stuff, I know it intimately. I know violence on many levels intimately. I've had a 45 loaded, put to my head. I've had to talk people down that had a gun to their own head. I know struggle. I know sadness. I know sickness. I know death. I know real loss. I know real hopelessness because either I lived through it or I witnessed it firsthand with several people that I've known in my life. I actually have a tattoo of a semicolon that means that I stand in solidarity with people who want to take their own life, because that's how many times I have talked someone down from doing that. I know it intimately. I know their struggle. I've been there with them. I know drug addiction. I know alcoholism intimately, either through husbands that I've had or my own father or my own siblings. I know it intimately. I've never been that person myself, but I've definitely experienced it and witnessed it. And here's a really sensitive one for me. I've been raped twice in my life by human men, and neither time can even come close to comparing to my very rude awakening to the reality that draconian reptilians are real, and being raped by one to prove it. That was the most intense is going to be the word I'm going to use, moment of my life. The moment that truly put my skills and my ability to do that disassociation to its biggest test. Because it wasn't the physical rape that this reptilian wanted to achieve with me. He wanted to rape my mind. And if I didn't have those skills and ability to disassociate from pain or from trauma or from a tense situation the way that I was taught in the GATE program and had to utilize in life in various scenarios, whether it was for work or for my own personal life, I would not have survived that, because my head felt like I was going to have an aneurysm trying to keep up my fireproof Fort Knox wall to keep him out. And that's not something that I really care to talk about very much. And it isn't because of the experience itself, but because it's very relatable to me to be that person sitting on the other side of that story and saying, reptilians? Really? Nah. Because I didn't want to believe it. I was all on board with ghosts and wendigos, and probably vampires are even real. Maybe dragons used to exist. Skinwalkers are real. UFOs and aliens are real. But when I think aliens or thought aliens, I was either thinking human looking or little gray men. I didn't have room in my thought process to accept that reptilians were real. And there actually is a reason for that, because I mean, I was scared to death of the Sleestack from the Land of the Lost when I was little, and I never understood why. But every time I would see them on the TV, it would trigger me and I would go hide. And that's because I had suppressed memories of being in the GATE program and being a psychic kid spy and having to be around different reptoid type beings, and um, always being very nervous about that. So, later in life, I came to understand why I was afraid of that knowing, and afraid to accept that. So again, more shadow work and more learning and growing for me. So I get it. I totally get it. I have clients that have come to me to talk to me about different things, and they don't want anything to do with UFO or alien talk. They consider that woo, and I completely understand that. Ironically, though, a lot of them end up finding out through their own work later on, not because of me, through their own work later on, they end up discovering that either they belong to some star family that's out there somewhere, or they've actually had encounters with alien beings throughout their life that they were trying to forget about. And these memories start coming back to them. So everybody's got their reasons for not wanting to remember things or not wanting to believe in things, right? And I don't judge anybody for any of it. I'm completely empathetic to all walks of life and all opinions and belief systems, and what you are or are not ready to accept or speak about or allow into your life to even consider as a remote possibility. I totally get it. And again, because I like to feel safe and not vulnerable, that's why I won't bring up that particular story very often to anyone, because I don't want to be called anything. Nobody likes to be called names. Um, but typically, when it comes to subjects like that, people want to be pretty vile and aggressive, in vehemently disagreeing with you and telling you all the reasons why that can't be true, which is it's their own issues, but it still doesn't feel good coming toward me. And so I tend to deflect from that and protect myself, you know, built in protection. Um, I have a good shield around me. I have pretty thick skin, but I am also sensitive and vulnerable at times. Um, and that's not a comfortable place for me to be. So, sharing this information with you took me a long time to be able to say that out loud and know that it's going to be out there in the public for everyone to hear about it. And I realize how insane some of it sounds. And you don't even know the half of it. I mean, I'm just kind of hitting the high notes of the struggle. Um, I've worked in bars, I've worked in strip clubs. I have seen real evil. I have seen real sin and real adulteration in its fullest form. I've witnessed people be at their lowest low and their highest high. I love and I know all walks of life, truly and sincerely. And I have actually found in life that you can have some really deep, meaningful conversations with some of the people that, you would opinionatedly class as the lower class of people, you know, friends in low places, right? They can have some really deep philosophical conversations because they're struggling just like everybody else to get through this thing that we call the game of life and figure out their place and their purpose and their path. So I've had some really great conversations with some really poor people, if you want to look at them from a financial standpoint. And like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not perfect and I don't want to be perfect. My life is great. The life that I have manifested is a really great life. It's not a perfect life. But perfect is boring. Okay, my apologies for the little phone call there. I wasn't even logged on to work, but somehow the phone call came through And I knew she needed to talk to me, and I was right. She really needed to talk to me. So I'm glad that it happened. And now I'm going to just share with you real quick. I just put this on my Facebook for New Year's. Due to personal reasons, I will be shining bright like a fucking diamond, unapologetically for the foreseeable future. And that is exactly my attitude at this point. I am not playing it small anymore. I'm going to show you, demonstrate to you, and speaking it to you who I am, what I've been through, and who you can be, because I know that your struggles are real too, and we can all rise above struggle into blessings in life. I mean, come on. Y'all look at me all the time. I'm always smiling. I'm always shining. That ain't bullshit. That's real. That's real. And you can have that too. I want that for you. I want that for everyone that watches. I truly do. I don't want any more suffering in this world for anyone. And to learn what I know, you really can end your suffering. You really can end that of the people that you love, right? As long as you don't mess with free will, because you can't screw with free will. If they don't want it, you can't do it. It's that whole you can take a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink thing, right? But I am meant to teach this to you, and you are meant to learn it so that you too can be a sovereign human being and enjoy this lifetime. Truly, fully enjoy it. So I welcome you to go to my website that will be in the link in the description box below and sign up for an appointment, a meeting, an activation, a class, whatever it is that you feel called to do. And let's get through this together. And don't tell me you can't afford it, because my prices are very cheap to begin with, and I offer multiple payment plans for multiple different levels of abilities. We need to do this together. So if you dedicate your energy, I want to dedicate mine. And I want to see all of us shine. Be well and be blessed in love and light. I'd like to add just one more little segment to this. I've survived being poisoned. I've survived car wrecks. I've survived my neck being broken twice. A brown recluse biting me and almost losing my leg and my life. I've survived broken ribs. I've survived bleeding to death, hemorrhages, blood pressure bottoming out, flatlining. I've survived Reye's syndrome, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis that was severe and diagnosed when I was 19. And I'm healthy and I'm functionable. I'm not broken. I'm still vibrant, youthful. I've raised the dead. True story. I've healed broken bones on other people. True story. I've healed hearts that needed uh, pacemakers or heart surgery or stents. I've healed cancer. I've healed thyroids. I've healed burns, third-degree burns on myself and others. I've parted tornadoes and prevented damage. I have truly calmed earthquakes and dispersed them and pushed back the tidal waves of a tsunami. All true, all possible for all people. You are so much more divine than anyone ever wanted you to know. And we truly are who we've been waiting for. Right?